Hey friend, we have all seen some content around the concept of a soft life, slow living, and people being in their lazy era. Let's chat about this collective draw that we have towards what I call gentleness. And let's look at a few ways that we can add more softness to our daily life. I have been observing these trends from a bit of a distance because while I thought they sounded nice, I didn't feel I could totally relate to them. But now I am rethinking my stand because I can see that I was at least partially wrong. So I did a quick Google search and I found out that the term soft life actually originated in the Nigerian influencer community. Shout out to my fellow West Africans. While I thought these were separate issues, on my channel I have been a big proponent of self-compassion and gentleness when it comes to our personal growth. I have been touting gentleness when it comes to our goals, our expectations, and how we generally treat ourselves. I've talked about practicing self-compassion and being in our own care the way people we love are in our care, the way children are in our care. And I love exploring this sort of nurturing, supportive relationship that we can have with ourselves. I suspect that I'm drawn to this perspective in particular because it was not part of my upbringing. As a firstborn daughter and a first-generation immigrant, I subscribed to the idea that everything I wanted to have, anything worth having, required a great deal of self-sacrifice and suffering. The way I understood it, nothing worth having would come easy. And so if anything fell too easy, it probably wasn't worth my time. To be suspicious of ease and avoid any kind of comfort is a pretty harsh way to approach life. And I am actively working on changing that. I have a daughter of my own now, and she was born in very different circumstances. And I'm doing my best to make sure that she has a gentler experience of life than I did. The reason I didn't immediately connect to the soft life trend in the beginning is because everything I saw was really focused on aesthetics and material luxury. I saw lots of expensive brands, a lot of white and beige, complicated skincare routines, people traveling in first class and eating expensive meals. But that stuff was not really what I was looking for. I mean, I do like nice and expensive things to a certain extent, but they are not what I aspire to. The gentleness I was aspiring to was some kind of internal peace and contentment. I was looking for permission to slow down and relax and just allow things to be easy. I can see now that these trends can be a different expression of a similar longing for a comfortable and peaceful life. And I find it fascinating that as a community, as a generation, even across generation, we are collectively looking for ease and softness, almost as a contrast to the hustling, the collective burnout, and the exhaustion we have all been feeling. And I am definitely on board with that. So now let's talk about 4 ways that we can introduce elements of softness and gentleness into our daily lives. Number 1 is to add some softness to your environment. Think about wearing soft and comfortable clothing, nothing scratchy, nothing that pinches, nothing that you have to adjust throughout the day. What about savoring your tea or your coffee outside if you could? Being around nature in general can have a gentle and calming effect in our lives. Think about how recharging it is to be around mature trees or any kind of body of water. What about taking some time to be by yourself in silence if possible, reducing the harshness of all the outside noise and all the demands? And what about the softness and gentleness of listening to calming, peaceful music? Another great idea is to use soft lighting, especially in the evening. What about the gentleness of giving yourself some extra time to wind down at the end of the day, and time to wind up in the morning? You don't have to necessarily jump out of bed and go. You can ease into your day. And lastly, what about the gentleness of being around people that make you feel good? People that make you feel like you don't have to be on and you can just relax in their presence. The second idea is to be nicer to yourself. Don't push your body past its breaking point. Pay attention to the signals it sends you. I know that in our busy lives, it's easy to suppress what we feel. We delay grabbing some food or drinking some water or going to the bathroom when our body sends us signals because we think, well, let me finish this email, let me finish this one more thing. But what if we just honored what our body was telling us in the moment? Another way to be nicer to yourself is to not let your mind get cluttered. Intentionally curate the content that you consume. And when you start to feel like you've got a lot going on, write things down. Process outside of your head. Also, when you fall short or fail, try to approach the situation with genuine curiosity and a great deal of self-compassion. Contrary to what I believed growing up, beating yourself up is not a great source of motivation. It only messes up the relationship you have with yourself. So don't do that. There's nothing to gain. Give yourself as many fresh starts as you need and give yourself second chances, third chances, fourth chances, whatever you need to move forward. Have the most patience with yourself. We can be really patient with other people, but we really need to be patient with ourselves. And watch what you say to yourself and about yourself. One of my New Year's resolutions is to use more positive, more empowering language when I talk about myself. Even though I know better, I have been saying things that make it sound like I don't have any control over my life. On a typical day, if you ask me how I'm doing, I might tell you that I'm busy, I'm overwhelmed, I have a lot on my plate, I don't have enough time. And those may be real sentiments or a description of something that's really happening to me. But I think there are other ways to express the same thing. I have used these phrases so often that they just roll off my tongue. And even if I'm having a pretty decent day, I might just tell you that I'm busy because I'm used to saying that. What I would like to do is to try practice saying things like, I am working on getting some stuff off my plate, or I'm working on clearing my schedule in the next couple of days, or I'm planning on having some more me time. These are not quite finalized yet, but how can I convey that I'm going through a lot while empowering myself and letting people know that I'm doing something to address it? But that's me. Maybe you are using even harsher language when you talk about yourself. And if so, I encourage you to rethink that. The third idea is to work on decreasing the resistance in your life. The way I have been brought up to approach life is this kind of Sisyphean struggle of constantly having to roll some kind of boulder up a hill. And even as an adult, I'm really good at finding my next struggle. And I'm not saying that life is going to be perfectly easy moving forward, but I know that the challenges we face in life can feel much harder and can be exacerbated if we have a habit of seeing everything as a struggle. Maybe instead of always pushing against the grain, we can find a way to go with the grain, go with the flow a little bit more. And that starts by being open to the idea that things could be easier and things could flow. Maybe we can find ways to be pulled towards what we want instead of bulldozing our way towards what we think we should have. This would of course require getting clear on what it is you want. And this means we have to make time to listen to ourselves and practice introspection. So think about picking goals that are meaningful to you, not goals that you feel like you have to do because everybody else is doing them, or goals that other people are expecting you to pursue. What if we could think of personal growth as creating, building, and uncovering ourselves? I've said this before, but I think we should all stay away from goals that feel like a punishment, or like we're trying to fix ourselves because we are somehow broken. It's really hard to feel motivated when we're making ourselves feel bad about who we are. And the fourth idea is to make yourself important in your own life. This is easier said than done, but this is something I'm working on as well. Try not to compromise on the things that you know you need to feel your best. A lot of us are taught or we observe other people and we learn from their behavior that self-sacrifice is a virtue. Putting others first and making sure they're taken care of, especially when we have kids. But you should treat yourself as an important person in your life, with the same regard that you would have for anybody else that you care for. Don't wait until you are completely run down to take care of yourself. Make time for your personal maintenance and upkeep. And I'm not just talking about like doing your nails and aesthetic things like that. But take some time to clear your head. Take some time to recharge your batteries. Get proper rest. If someone you cared for needed your help right away and their well-being depended on it, you would make time for it. But when it comes to ourselves, it's easy to think, well, I'll get to it later. But then later never happens. So we trick ourselves into thinking that we're buying time, but we're not. If you don't make the time to take care of yourself as you go, eventually you will be forced to take a break. When you mentally burn out or your body breaks down, you will end up in a hospital or you will end up out of commission in some capacity for several days. So taking care of yourself is not something that is optional, and you're not saving time by skipping it right now. You will eventually have to do it. That bill will come due at some point. It'd be much easier if you did it now in a preventive manner, rather than wait until you lose your health or are mentally completely overwhelmed and are forced to take that time for yourself. Treat your commitments to yourself the way you would your commitments to other people. You don't even have to put yourself above other people. You just have to treat yourself with the same amount of love and respect as you do the other people that you care for. If you could be equally important, that would be a huge step in the right direction. I hope these ideas gave you some food for thought for how you can add more softness and gentleness into your life, even if a first-class trip to Dubai isn't in the cards for you right now. And even if you do make it to Dubai, I hope that you have some softness and gentleness waiting for you at home as well. Gentleness should not just be reserved for the times that you're traveling and the times that you're taking a break from your regular life. Make your regular life more gentle as well. As always, take good care of yourself, be gentle to yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.